Alright, today I'm going to give you guys a detailed look at this Noble 6 figure from Jazwares. And here's the figure and the accessories. Comes with 5 extra hands, a pistol, and a rifle, which he's holding right now. And he comes with a knife on the shoulder as well, on the chest section. So let's take a good look at this Noble 6 here. And first thing you'll notice when you get this out of package is that the head is actually different color than the body, the rest of the body. The rest of the body has a darker shade of gray, while the head is a little lighter. It might be hard to see on camera, but trust me, it is different. Maybe at this angle is a little more noticeable, but yeah. And there's the rifle he's holding on to. Is it DMR, I think? I'm not even sure anymore. It's been quite a long time since I played Halo. And here's another angle of him. Combat knife is nice. I do like that. And here you can see the face shield is no longer that chrome finish. It's more of a metallic finish instead. And yeah, I lost that chrome finish, which I really like. But yeah, here's the combat knife. It is removable. It's held on with friction, like that. And they changed a lot of the stuff on this figure here, as far as the articulation is concerned. The way they did the articulation now. This one, there's a hinge there, so he supposedly can look up a little bit better, which I don't think he does. Due to the neck piece, there's a little lip down here on the neck, does impede with articulation, so he can't really look up, but he can look down a little bit, like right there. That's about it. And then as for the shoulders, it still has that butterfly joint, but it barely moves now. It's not as impressive as before. And on the shoulders, it is a lot tighter now. And it doesn't look like you could easily remove the arm either. So the joint is a little tighter. You can see it doesn't fly or rotate 360 anymore. I mean, it still rotates 360, but it's just a lot tighter now. And then still has that bicep swivel and double jointed elbows. Gives you about that much. And then the hinge wrist, same thing as before. And the torso does also have that ball joint up here. And actually, the ball joint is a little bit better this time around. The range is a little bit better. I think they must have either tightened up the abdominal section a little bit, and then so it allows the gap. Allows the chest to have a little more gap in between the chest and the abdominal section. So this way you can move a little bit more. And then as for the legs, exactly the same. Ball joint right there, and then it does have a swivel thigh right there. And one thing I don't like is the knees. Before, I mean, it still operates the same thing. It still looks like this on the previous version, but this time around it's a lot softer. Look at that. It's like gummy plastic. Look at this. I hate it. Because before they use a much thicker joint here instead of using this thinner type now, which, yeah, it's awful. I hate this. And the ankle is still the same. It does have that hinge joint. It does pivot left and right. It does have that toes articulation as well. So as far as changes is concerned, mainly they didn't reuse the joint, so it's just harder for you to swap pieces with older figures. So this you cannot swap out. I was hoping that I could swap out the old joint with the new joint, so because the old joint were much thicker, so it doesn't give you this ugly wobbleness here. And yeah, and the head, the neck joint, they added that hinge to it. So yeah, I think if you still I think you could still pop the head off and then switch it to another Mark V Spartan if you so choose to. And then shoulders, I like that. They're much tighter now. And yeah, so overall, I still like this figure. Still like the new design. It's just I'm not a fan of that rubbery knee joint, that's all. That's the main issue I have with this figure. And here's the previous, the old Spartan Mark V. This is the white version. Look at that. I love the visor, the chrome finish visor. And the shoulder, look at how loose this is. Yeah. And the butterfly joint, it gives you a little bit more. Look at that. It gives you a little more range. Much more than before. And then everything else is, yeah, everything else is just looser on this one than the new one. Oh, actually the chest is actually the same amount of range there, and the legs are pretty much the same. And then the knees, these are kind of loose too, even though they're ratcheting joints. But for some reason, this one is tight. This side is tight, but this side is a little bit on the loose side. Not sure why. And the toes articulation, this one's so loose right here. Weak. And same with this side too. Weak. But yeah. Like I mentioned, look at that knee joint right here. It's much thicker than that one. I don't mind the thickness of this, but this, as long as it's not wobbly like this, I hate this. It makes the plastic so cheap. It makes it feel so cheaply made. But yeah, I do like this again. I do like the visor quite a bit. So I think it is possible for you to swap heads with these figures. And yeah, as far as everything else, I think it's very similar. Yeah, the chest piece looks to be identical. The only thing they changed, no, actually they didn't even change the neck piece. The neck is still the same. It does have that flap there. The previous version, the head is a little lower actually. No, it's about the same, I think. Head sculpt looks to be the same too. Just the way they added that little piece to look up and down, but I don't think it really helps at all. This one actually works better without it. So you can look there, and you can still look down quite a bit. So what was the reasoning to add that other joint on here? I mean, it's not giving you extra range of motion here. It's exactly the same. So I don't get it. I don't get why they needed to add that joint here, because this neck is perfectly fine. Yeah, and it's not loose or anything either. So I don't get that. So here is the comparison between the two. Yeah. Armor looks to be the same. I don't think they changed anything as far as the armor pieces is concerned. I think the main thing they changed are the joints. They made it definitely tighter on almost all of them. Yeah, I think all the joints are tighter than the previous version. And yeah, so I guess if you, I guess I would be happy. I guess I would recommend these. If you're okay with the knee joint being soft. But overall, I think it is definitely an improved figure because the joints are much tighter. I like that. And but paint job on the helmet is different color than the chest. I mean the rest of the armor, so that sucks. So two main issues: the helmet paint and the knee joint, and those are the only two issues I have with this figure. Otherwise, it's perfect. So there you have it. There is Nobo 6 from Jazwares, and it's gonna set you back, I believe it's $25. Nope, actually it's 20. Look at that, $20, and I got it at GameStop. So yeah, I got all three at GameStop. I got the Master Chief, the Palmer, and Noble 6, and I'm tempted to get the orange Spartan Mark 5 too, because it is just so bright orange. Let me see. Let me show you the back. Look at how bright that orange is. It's like crazy bright. But yeah, it's kind of cool actually. So yeah, so back to the Noble 6, and there you go. Totally worth getting, I guess. And thanks for watching.